BirdLife South Africa is a long-established organisation, formed initially in 1905 as the South African Ornithologists Union. The organisation then became the Southern African Ornithological Society in 1936, and then BirdLife South Africa in 1996. In 1996, it became a global network of 120 bird conservation organisations around the world that work together to achieve one common goal, and that's the conservation of the world's birds. BirdLife South Africa has a staff complement of 37 people, and these staff, which range from scientists to a chartered accountant to a tax lawyer, work together with a large number of volunteers and members to conserve our country's 837 bird species. BirdLife International has a global strategy, and the strategy is approved at the BirdLife International World Congresses, which are held every 4 years. It's then up to the BirdLife partners, all 120 partners, to implement the strategy in their respective countries. The strategy has 4 focal areas: conserving species, protecting sites and habitats, encouraging ecological sustainability, and empowering people through positive change. So BirdLife South Africa has an action plan. The action plan basically defines how we roll out this strategy in our country. There are 2 very important documents which guide BirdLife South Africa's work. One is the Important Bird and Biodiversity Areas Directory. And this directory lists the 112 sites in South Africa, IBAs, which are important for the conservation of South Africa's birds. If we lose these sites, we could potentially lose bird species. The other very important document which guides our work is the Red Data Book. Now, both of these books were published at the end of 2015. The Red Data Book, which is published every 10 to 15 years, lists the birds in South Africa which are threatened with extinction. Very sadly, 132 of South Africa's birds are listed in the 2015 Red Data Book. So BirdLife South Africa focuses its work on the most threatened species. These range from threatened seabirds to threatened terrestrial birds, a large number of water birds. We've had some really important successes during the last few years. We're very proud of the work that we've done through the albatross task force to save albatrosses and other seabirds. In the trawl fishery, the hake fishery, we've managed to reduce the mortalities of albatrosses in our waters by 99%. Tens of thousands of albatrosses are now saved per annum through the mitigation measures which we've developed and implemented in our waters. We also do work on terrestrial birds, things like the Rudd's lark, which is an endangered lark, very localized distribution. The critically endangered white-winged flufftail is very important to us. It only occurs in South Africa and Ethiopia, and probably only breeds at one locality in the highlands of Ethiopia. We're undertaking a lot of work to understand the biology of this species, but also we are in the advanced stages of developing and building a captive facility for the white-winged flufftail at the National Zoological Gardens in Pretoria. There are many threats to our birds, most of them human-related, and BirdLife South Africa is trying to address these threats as best as we can. One of the threats is the potential impact of wind farms and solar farms on our birds, particularly the large terrestrial birds, things like bustards, storks, raptors, including vultures. So we've been working with industry and with government to try and influence where these wind farms and the solar farms are placed so we can reduce the mortalities of these developments on our country's birds. Another important threat is declining fish stocks in our waters. These are having a significant effect, we believe, on birds like the African penguin, our continent's only penguin, and other coastal birds such as the Cape gannet and the various species of cormorants that occur along our coast. One can address the threats to birds, but one would not be able to conserve them unless you protected their habitats. And that's why BirdLife South Africa's Important Bird and Biodiversity Areas program is so important. Those 112 sites around the country need to be protected. And we're very proud of the work that we're doing to protect these sites. Using an innovative method called biodiversity stewardship under the Protected Areas Act, we've been successful during the last year in ensuring that 75,000 hectares of important bird and biodiversity areas are protected in the Chrissy's Mere and the Meermal area, really important parts of our grassland biome. BirdLife South Africa also works with people. We're a membership-based organisation. We have a growing membership. We have more than 30 affiliated bird clubs across the country, and we service our members through the provision of a bi-monthly magazine, African BirdLife, widely regarded as one of the world's best bird and birdwatching magazines. Our members receive a monthly newsletter. We're very active on social media, and we hold events around the country for our members and for other bird watchers. We also do a lot of awareness work to create awareness about birds, bird conservation and BirdLife South Africa. We're very proud to have a pro bono advertising agency, Utopia, and an outdoor media company, JC Decor, who provide us with fantastic adverts, some of them being published in Time magazine, which promote the important work that we do. There's been a significant increase in awareness of our organisation and our work during recent times. We're also actively involved with the youth. We have environmental education programs, particularly in southern Mpumalanga, where we work with rural schools. And we have a recent innovation, that's development of a youth membership category, which is going to be entirely digital. It's called Fledge, and it'll be about reaching tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of children through social media in particular. We're very excited about Fledge and what it can do to raise awareness about the environment through birds. Last year we developed a really exciting campaign to raise awareness about the plight of vultures. We created a fictitious bird called the tulliver, a vulture, a more pretty vulture than the vultures that we know. We photoshopped a lappet-faced vulture into the tulliver, tulliver being an anagram for vulture. We then announced to the world that we discovered this new bird in the Mapungubwe area. There was great excitement, particularly amongst bird watchers and twitchers. There was a new bird species that you can go and watch. A few days later we released a YouTube video clip in which we showed the reverse photoshopping of the tulliver to the lappet-faced vulture. And the message was, if you care so much about new bird species, what about those that are currently in existence? Bird watching is a rapidly growing pastime and matches gardening and golf in the USA at the moment. We see the same increased interest in bird watching in South Africa. In fact, a recent study by the Department of Trade and Industry showed that bird watching in South Africa is worth about 1 billion rand per annum. Importantly, it's growing. BirdLife South Africa does its best to help bird watching, AV tourism as it's called. So we've established birding routes around the country. We have registered birder-friendly accommodation establishments. These are mainly guest houses, which cater for bird watchers. We've also trained about 200 community bird guides, many of them actively guiding today. These are people in rural areas who are very knowledgeable about the area's birds, and they can take bird watchers out to see the special birds which occur in those areas. BirdLife South Africa is a donor-funded organisation, and we rely on donations from individuals, family trusts, organisations and corporates to do our work. And that work is to conserve South Africa's birds. We pride ourselves on good governance. We have an executive board. It consists of lawyers, chartered accountants, scientists and other business people. We also have a governance committee which ensures good governance by undertaking an annual review of our work. So BirdLife South Africa is a whole team of people, and together we're giving conservation wings.